Hello, and welcome back to another conversation with Coco. I am your host, Coco, and today we're going to have a very special episode of Conversation with Coco because we're going to discuss the unhingedness that is Tyler Perry, specifically Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman. We will have some guests. If you are on TikTok, you can join us over on YouTube. The link is in, where those things are. If you're here on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But without further ado, let me add my squirrels to the stream so they can let you know their name, where you can find them, any current projects before we get into Tyler Perry's unhinged mind. I don't know who wants to go first.
Ari can go first.
Okay.
I feel like I always start, so you can go first.
Okay.
We
Well,
can draw straws, or we could pick a number between 1 through 10.
no, I'm gonna go. It was just funny because I was the last one to get logged in, so it was like, go ahead and go, girl. You go, girl. So, okay, my name is Ari. You can find me on TikTok battling with these people about that Carly Russell situation at Dear Red.
Look, we ain't gonna get to that.
I'm over there still dealing with that. I don't have anything big going on because as the other two know, I'm in school, so if I'm not doing this, I'm researching. So, but I do try to occasionally make videos on TikTok.
Yay, Ari. I am Amanda. I am Miss Anlin Diva 87 across all platforms. I ain't doing much neither but arguing with them people on TikTok right now as well. But I do have a podcast called Miss Diva's Podcast that's streaming on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So anybody that wants to hop on over there and take a listen. And besides raising this youngin', I'm over here minding my black beautiful business. So
y'all know me. Ooh, hold on, I'm over here. Sorry, I'm over here trying to open up all my stuffs. Y'all know me. I just be over here living life, being a lawyer, I guess.
You have like that's a horrible job. Like I guess I like the lawyer and stuff.
You want to switch places?
Thank you, ma'am. I like my life to not be as complicated, unless you want to do this dissertation for me.
Listen, at this moment, my sheet. But anywho, we're gonna critique a classic black film. I'm ready for the chaos to ensue. So for y'all that don't know, Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman is a film that is a film adaptation of a play written and produced and directed by him by the same name. And it basically is a story of a Black woman named Helen as she navigates her 18-year marriage coming to an end and all of the process of the ups and downs of her going through that divorce, quote unquote, healing and moving on to a new man by the name of Orlando. We also have the friend stories of Medea and all the things that connect her. There's also a side story of a cousin Brian and his crackhead wife. So yeah, we're going to discuss the film.
I'm sorry, the delivery, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Oh, did I miss anything?
I mean, no.
You're not wrong. I just wasn't wrong for the delivery.
So yeah, that's a little in a nutshell of what the movie's about. They told me that we were just gonna free ball it. So look, y'all know me. I like structure. So I'm gonna let the punches roll as they may. I took my notes.
Okay.
I think my consensus is I think I have a defining word of the whole movie, but like we can get into it. So how should we do this? Should we just go like from like, beginning to end? Yeah, what y'all wanna do?
We can do like beginning to end because, like, when it began, I was like, I haven't seen this since 2003. So, what eyes am I looking at? Like, I'm looking at this from a completely different perspective, like before I got jaded in dating. So, like,
I
maybe,
guess we should talk about that, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think because we've all seen this movie.
right,
So we
Yes.
kind of like I feel like again, like I said, like I was a little it was a little shady, but I said it was a black classical film. I mean that because I feel like it's one of those films. It's like if are you black if you've ever watched this? If you've not watched this, your black card is revoked. Kind of like one of those things.
right,
So and then even if you haven't seen the movie, you've seen some of the cultural references, either memes or taglines or whatever may have you. You've come into contact with the movie on some level. And we also the factor in we're in our 30s now, right?
right.
Yes.
So when all of this has been going on, it's like we were like what
I was like
about
15
like
or
15 to
16.
20 years ago, like
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
about 20 now.
so we're
We were
looking at this from
teenagers.
the perspective like we're grown, our frontal lobes are developed. We've been battling our community on the
That part.
interwebs in the
That part.
trenches.
Oh God, yes.
So, I mean, so society is also changing. Y'all know I'm bringing sociology every time I get a chance. Society is changing around us. I think some of the cultural norms that were acceptable back then are just not acceptable now. But then I also see all the things that were acceptable then that are just acceptable now.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I guess if we go from the beginning, I guess we can go from the point where the movie opens to they're at this coming into this banquet or this award ceremony of her husband receiving this lifetime achievement kind of award.
Right.
And she's kind of narrating in the background, basically writing in her journal. And so that whole scene progresses into them going home, him dropping her off at their home and leaving, and her being sad. It's their anniversary up into she takes him to his office and she meets this woman with this young child. And, we have sneaking suspicions. And then we come to the scene, the famous scene that kind of like, I don't know, I should have probably looked up the acts and like, what's act one, act two, and act three. But we
Right.
get to the famous scene of, she goes back home, her things are being packed. And some other things are being moved in her closet. She's waiting for her husband to come home late into the evening of her anniversary. He gets home, basically says, like, get the fuck out. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, what? This other woman comes in and she's like, bitch is at my clothes. The fuck going on here? And he drags her ass about the house because she says she ain't leaving. And he said, well, I'll drag you out. And that's what the fuck he did. And then we could stop right there because that opening 10 minutes was a lot. I don't even
Right.
know.
I've always felt some type of way about the whole the banquet where it's like, as a 36-year-old mother now looking at it with my experience in dating, watching it as a teenager, I was just like, ugh, he's a bad man. Hopefully all of them are not like that. Like, that was my thoughts at 15 or 16 years old. Now I'm looking at it and I'm just like, but you knew you didn't want her. So why did you even stand up there and be like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my wife? And then tell her to get the hell out your car at the house. Like, what? Like,
Well, her entries in her diary, she kept referring to how he likes appearances and for things to look a certain way, and how she appeases him in things looking a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the word that I kept coming back to was delusional.
mm-hmm,
Because in her diary, she's clearly saying, like, this man basically puts on a front and I help him. But then she's confused about him not wanting to spend quality time with her or why he's paying her dust. It's like
But you
he don't
already
come
knew he ain't like you.
right. And it was like if you listen, because I guess I had to watch it a few times to catch it. I don't remember what part it was. I don't know if it was in her monologue where she basically was alluding to the fact that how she had marriages due to the stress that he was putting her through by cheating.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been something that's been happening throughout their whole entire relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Tyler
And
Perry has
she
a great.
just
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Tyler Perry has a great way in all of these films to leave out major bits of information. So you go into it and then you're hearing her at the back end telling all of the things that's happened. Like I would have loved to seen how their relationship was when they first got together to
Like a
now where
flashback.
they have this money.
Like a flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But he never
Well,
does that because he wants to go right into the mess.
Well, I mean, and now that you say that out loud, that would have been interesting to see, like a clip of when they met, a clip of, you know, when they was going through the trenches or whatever the case may be. I would have loved to seen a scene where he convinced her to sign a damn prenup with no money. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved to seen something like that because Medea was like, "You signed a prenup?" Well, Tyler. Medea, like, you signed a prenup. He ain't had no money when you met him. Well, he always knew that he was gonna make it, and he wanted to make sure that I was here for real. Little girl, who floated who paid the bills when he was still trying to make it? Like, how did we get? Like, you're right about that. How did we get here?
and I think that in these earlier films, I kind of get it and I kind of don't. Like I get that he was adapting the play that he wrote
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
for live performance and just adapting it to the film. But that's kind of like one of my critiques of Tyler Perry. It's like he does not write for film. He
No.
writes for stage plays.
Yeah, which is
And so it
awesome.
kind of leaves out a lot of the benefit of filming, which is you can have a lot of backstory. You can
Mm-hmm.
have glimpses of things. It may not have to be a big portion of the film, but you can do that. And especially his plays that he adapted. But even now, I see that now. He'll write long ass monologues that go
Mm-hmm.
on and on that are like not natural conversation. The even how he films and how he has them act and their blocking, it's very much stage and not adapted for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't he
And that's why he uses actors from his plays to do some of the minor roles because I don't think any of the the actors or actresses that we know that wouldn't mind being a part of something like that would actually take upon. And I think he get to pay them a lot cheaper.
That's understandable. I when I don't know. I guess when we got to the scene where she went to the job with the picnic, that had to have been complete delusion, like Coco said,
no,
because
bro, she delusional as fuck.
like
She
it's
is the Lulu.
because it's like he just literally told you get the hell out of his car. So you figure that he dealing with somebody, but then walks in there and the po receptionist over here like, look, Miss McCarter, I ain't trying to lose my job. And then old buddy like, oh, I'll take it for you, which means y'all seen that woman, y'all knew that woman was there. And like your homeboy ain't been like, yo, you gonna step out on your wife? Don't do it where she can walk in. Like it
No,
was.
you know good and damn well
I
these Negroes
know,
ain't gonna do that.
I
Not
know.
in Tyler Perry
They
world and
do
not
not
in
have
the
critical
real
thinking skills.
world.
Well,
Let's
I
try to
was
figure out a way so you can cheat on your wife without everybody being in your business.
correct, but
I
everybody
mean,
was
his
still
business
in the
partner knew.
business.
His partner was like, "Can I take this in for him?"
Yeah,
And because he was looking at her like, "Hey, what you doing here?
yeah.
Can I get this basket? You gotta go." But it's like she was picking up on hints, which leads me to believe she's more Delulu because again, I think it's more so in the middle of the movie where she goes over basically like again, like this has been happening for years. This is not
Right.
the first time he didn't had a side, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He been doing this, so it's like even still, it's like, and I guess it's kind of like my critique of like even in the world when this happens in real life, I get it and I get it intellectually, but I don't get it like wholly. Like you're with this man who obviously, like you said, isolated you from your family,
Mm-hmm.
has been treating you like shit this entire time,
Right.
leaving you to be basically his beard,
Yeah.
um, constantly cheating on you, and you know about it. You're miscarrying over it. It sounds like Danae fucking Jackson.
Well,
On
I was wondering if that. I was wondering if that
it's
sounded
really,
like.
you know, it's really giving. And oh, I did think about that because I'm skipping ahead by a lot actually. So I'll put a pin in this. But when she was talking to Shamar Moore's character when they were dancing at that restaurant, and
Mm-hmm.
she was talking about how I thought it was a fairy tale, and like
Mm-hmm.
he was supposed to be like the only man I've ever been with. It was supposed to
He's
be a
my first. I
fairy
must
tale,
screw up when
my
she said
first
that.
and my everything. And like, I'm just like, girl,
I almost threw up when she said that
what?
part because I was just like, he was supposed to be yo. Girl, did you see your husband? That
Mm-hmm.
was
And I'm like,
okay.
and they don't take stock in how are you being treated?
Mm-hmm.
Like this man is literally physically abusing you, being verbally, emotionally abusive, cheating on you constantly. Why are you so desperate to be loved and acknowledged by this man? I don't
She
care
knew
that
other
you've been with
women's
him
bodies
for
better than
18
she knew
plus
her own.
years. Like I don't understand.
She knew
I
other
have a
women's bodies better than she knew her own. Remember?
wow.
Ooh, Jesus.
So, so, so what I think is because I've also picked this up. She wanted to keep her mom in that retirement home. And
Mm-hmm.
it must be a very expensive retirement home because this is because the only thing I can think of for you to stay for 18 years like that is because you know that you cannot afford to take care of your mom on that level.
Well, I mean,
So
she
you're willing
couldn't
to put up with a
because she
lot.
wasn't working. That's the
Yeah.
other part of the abuse thing. It's like she wasn't working, and she was too delusional to at least have some money of your own and set it aside.
I've been
Exactly.
So it
moving
was
some money
like
around.
she being with this man, and I think part of it was she was married to the lifestyle. She wasn't working. I think the play actually gives more background about how that I think they met in college and she may have had a degree and may have not went into her own career to just help him through law school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the movie doesn't tell us any of that, but
Right. Which makes
um,
me mad because it's like you can't even sit here when you hear her say, you know, I've been here for 18 years. I've been here when you had nothing. How do I know that?
Cause she
Because
just told us.
define
Danae
nothing.
just, I mean, Helen just told us. I
so
just
I don't get it. So let me see, because I haven't eaten enough before. I just keep saying um did y'all see that the side chick was at the award ceremony in the crowd? He
Yes.
looked at her.
Yes.
I
oh wait,
can't.
no, I meant whoa, wait, really? Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
she was in the she was at a table and he looked at her when he was walking in and she was like,
Wait, wait,
hi.
wait, wait. Let me
You're
pull up.
right.
Let me pull it up right now. Because I told you I was in the Cleo's part of watching this. Hold on. Cause I'm gonna go back and look. Go ahead, keep talking.
I'll also say I realized that even in the brief interactions that we saw in the first few scenes of the film, um, that man is just he is constantly rejecting her. You can tell
Mhm.
just he hates her.
He
Yeah.
And
does.
even with that, why do you want to be with this man so badly when he clearly is just
Doesn't even
and
like
pure
you.
disdain for you.
Doesn't even like
Because
you.
a lot of women just they like the idea of being married, and even if their husband is only giving them a pea size enough affection or attention, they're gonna take it. And she feels like her life was perfect. So in her mind, she did not need to worry, even if he
But what
wasn't
is
giving
what
her.
is what is this definition of her life was perfect? Because like
Oh, I
you
know
had
her life
money,
wasn't perfect. That's
like
how
no, I
she.
know, I get what I know that. I'm saying like because I think we all understand that like when something is in media, that means it happens often enough for it to be socially commented on.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So what is with the phenomenon of just like I lost it.
I just saw that heifer. I just saw it in the intro, y'all. I didn't know that was her because her hair wasn't
You
curly. I did not know that was her. I didn't know who that was.
it's
Okay,
the
go
side chick.
ahead. I had to
But
go
no, like
look. I'm
how
sorry.
I got it back now. How I don't understand is it just that the appearance is good enough and the
I think
money is good enough to compensate?
I think so.
What if you're getting nothing at all, and then on top of you getting nothing, you're getting abused? It wasn't like he was love bombing her. I mean, he could have in the past. We don't know.
Because again,
But
Just
at
really
this
wasn't giving it
that's
to
right
him.
in the middle.
right, so at this juncture, at the end of their marriage, like the word I kept coming back to was delusional because she kept saying she wants to go back to when times were good. Well, bitch, when were the
When
good times?
was that?
Was that fucking 16 years ago? And
Right.
if so, bitch, you've been hoping for 16 years that your relationship will go back to being as good as it was 2 years into your marriage?
2 years
It's
into their marriage,
delusional.
he must have been running drugs 2 years into their marriage. That must have been where the money was coming from. Because Ari, when we started, I was telling Coco, I said, you know what, in my 2003 eyes, I missed a lot of the foolery that man was doing to get where he was. I don't know
Hmm.
what I thought. I think I thought, oh well, he just defends some bad guys from time to time. 16-year-old eyes. 36-year-old eyes. I was like, oh, you've been a crook.
Hmm.
Okay. Like it hit me when I was watching last night. I was like, he must have started moving weight 2 years into their marriage. And that's where the money came from. Like, oh yeah, homies, I'm gonna move this weight, but then I'm in school right now. So when I get on, I'm gonna make sure to defend y'all. Like, because you don't just randomly got a homeboy from the hood that'll be willing to pew pew undercover cop. Like, come on now, those are not coincidences. Like that man called you and gave you 300K to make it go away. Like you've been making stuff go away.
Mm.
So I'm with Coco on the delusional part, because if he was doing all of that stuff, honey, Helen, where was you?
Girl, she was
She
in her
was
little
she was
delusional. I have no
shopping.
idea where my husband gets the money from.
She was
I
cooking
don't
and
know how much
cleaning,
money that there is. I don't know where it goes. I don't know anything.
which is horrible. It is horrible
Mhm.
for a woman to not know what is coming in and out of her house.
Hell, that's how Teresa from Jersey Housewives get fed time, signing papers and not knowing what the hell going on. But I digress. Not about the white folk right now. Continue.
So after she get dragged out the house, let's move.
Dumbass. That's the craziest shit.
So
See,
she
here's
get
the
dragged out
thing. He
the
wouldn't have had to
house.
tell me but one time to leave. That girl
First of all, I
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
leave
able to say
nowhere.
anything to me.
I honestly, I just know for a fact I would have raised hell. Um, yes, someone would have went to
Same.
jail, but I know
Right.
I wouldn't have been driving a no U-Haul back to wherever the fuck I came from.
Well,
No.
That's
let's
all I
be
know.
clear. Why the hell didn't she track him down when she got to the house and the U-Haul was there?
Because
Why did
she's
you put on the dress
delusional.
and wait?
She's delusional. She thought
He
her
thought
man
he was
who told her
cleaning
to get
out
the fuck
her
out of the
closet.
house. Right.
He
She
thought,
thought she was getting a new wardrobe after the man told
it's
her to
been
get the
18
fuck out of his car.
years.
So after you done
Like,
seen him with his baby mama at the job,
Well, she
listen,
didn't know that.
you didn't even check. You didn't even check the sizes, because that also would have been a clue. Like, this too big. We'd have been together almost 20 years. You don't know my size yet. Like, well, he's also a man, but you
girl,
get what I'm saying. Like,
again,
I
she
wouldn't
a
have sat
douche.
there. I wouldn't have sat there. I would have drove
She
to
a
that office and be like, "Why you
douche.
got a U-Haul sitting in my house?" Maybe it's just me. I like
Again,
confrontation.
I as well.
I
But
mean,
my whole thing is when he said, my son, my children don't get to wake up
Oh,
at night. I just slapped the
oh,
shit out of him.
oh,
It
he
it
wouldn't have
would have
walked out of
it would
there.
have been nothing for me to haul off and slap the shit out of him. Because what you're not gonna do is ever rub in my face that you have illegitimate children
Right.
with some random woman. Like that's what you're not gonna do. Like you're the father of the fucking year.
Look, I would have left eye Lisa left eye Lopez that house when nobody had walked up out of there that day messing with me. Like, I think God ain't put me in those positions for a reason, because I would probably like justify insanity. But
Mm-hmm.
that house would have been up in flames.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been sitting on that curb crying. Like, even the drag out part, like, I remember the anger I had the first time I saw it. Like, sir, just let her grab some clothes, and well, her stuff was already in the truck, but let her walk out with some dignity. Be like, "Hey, yo, Helen, like, that ass, come on now, like, you gotta go. Like, don't you like dragging out was like just filth." And then Shamar over there talking about, "Oh hell, man, sir, go to
Help her. Tell that
right."
man to
I
stop.
that I was like, not only did they give you a bad wig, you gonna sit there. You sitting there for hours till it got dark. And then you hear her screaming, and your first thought was like, "Hey, yo, bro, no, bro, come on, ma'am, come on, let's just go to the truck." You ain't even try to intervene. Well, they don't do that shit now, but that's neither here nor there. It's like you sat there. You sat there. Both of y'all sat there. Ain't no way. I would have peeled that lace front off of Shamar's head. And he would have came home to some mess. It's like, what are you talking about? I can't.
Someone in the chat mentioned about the play when he had Hella in the play bark like a dog. That pissed me off in the
Oh,
play.
I remember that part.
listen, Tyler Perry's diabolical. I just.
We used to
So,
watch Tyler Perry.
anywho, after this light skinned man with a bad lace front watched her get dragged out the house, apparently he was like, "Look, you got a tank full of gas, so wherever you need to go, you can go." And so they driving around, and she get mad because she in there crying. He was like, it's 2 o'clock. Where you going?" And so she made him get the fuck out because she was tired of his shit, which was real unhinged. But it was more unhinged that he said, "Now I see why you was in the situation that you was
That
in." I was so
part.
confused.
The way I would have
That
ran him over
part.
with that truck.
Oh
Like,
my God.
don't sit here. I'm already fragile. Don't ever come out your mouth. You don't even know me.
Right.
Don't come out your mouth saying, "Oh, that's why. That's the reason why you got drug out of your house." Like, you
No
know what I'm saying?
empathy.
Like, don't, not
No
too much.
empathy. No empathy at all. You literally just watched her essentially be assaulted and drugged across the ground like she was nothing, as you have been filling up a truck with her stuff all afternoon. So it
Right.
ain't like you're not aware to what's going on. It's just like, I see why you going through that. And she should, like, he lucky she ain't hit him with that U-Haul truck after he said that. Because the
That's
state
what
that
niggas
her
do,
mental was
honey.
in, that could have been worse. If it had been a real life situation and not a movie.
Right.
A real life situation that could have ended up with a doo doo doo. On other news, lady runs man over with U-Haul. Like, that it would have it was, I see why. Why do they feel the need to do that? You see
First
that
of all,
she's
you're
at her
trying to give
lowest.
me advice that I did not ask for.
Right.
Let's start there. Because she has been in her own little world for 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not ready for any advice. she don't even know if her family is going to accept her or not. That's why she got you riding around. You knew you had another job to do. You shouldn't have took this job.
Well, not even just that. She said about how he alienated from the family, so that does make sense. Y'all are riding around because she can't go to her mama's. Her mama in a nursing home.
Yep.
So going to Medea's was the only thing that made sense, especially since I'm still confused on how Medea was supposed to be her grandma, but her mom was Cicely Tyson. That was a whole clusterfuck
Oh,
in
because I
itself.
figured it out. I did the math.
Okay, what's
Okay,
the
I'm
matter?
ready.
I don't think my wife was like, I don't think that's her granddaughter. I think that the mom was related to one of her ex-husbands because Medea got like 8 ex-husbands.
Right.
And then in the movie, when she went to the nursing home, her mom said that she had her when she was 39.
Yeah.
And I think in the play, if they met in college, I'm estimating if they met at 18, at like the youngest, she would be like 36 to like 42-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So like her mom would be in her mid 70s.
Okay.
So Medea just essentially was the
Like a
relative
step
to one of
grandmama.
the, like a step, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I kept looking at that like, now I know y'all not about to sit up here and not have Cicely. Come on now, it just the numbers didn't even add up right for me. But I was like, let me shut up, cause
But it's like I shouldn't have had to do all that math and have all that background information to figure that the fuck out.
But I
Like,
appreciate
Right.
that you did. You're
Let
appreciated,
me
Coco.
infer some things real quick.
Right. You're appreciated, Coco, for your extra efforts.
Right.
I just then Medea. Well, we know in true Medea form how that was gonna roll. You don't roll in nobody's house at 2 o'clock in the morning beating down the door. We know what that is. Medea didn't ask no questions. Come on in here, get in the house. The regular rhetoric that we expect from Mabel Simmons. But then come in the morning, it's just like, okay, what happened? It's like he threw me out the house, and she's like, "What you mean he threw you out your house?" Like, I'm trying to understand the backstory. It's just like, she really didn't fully tell Medea everything either. Uh, it's just that was real choppy. Just that interaction before Medea grabbed the calculator and
That part right there was
with the calculator.
unnecessary.
I
It
mean,
was funny
dramatics.
in the play. It was
It
funny in the
was,
play. It
yeah.
was
I just feel like
unnecessary in this movie.
the all of the comedy for me was
Was Joe and Medea.
inappropriate. I feel like the subject matter of the movie was very serious. We're talking about domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
divorce, starting over, drug
Substance
addiction,
abuse.
more marital issues, elderly issues, community issues, and we just have like this big buffoon cracking jokes at inappropriate times. Like when I was first rewatching it, like after I watched when I was watching it today, taking notes, it was like ha ha ha. But like when I was like rewatching it, I'm like, this kind of cheapened the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of could have been a movie that stood alone without Medea
Yeah.
because the subject matter was very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these things, navigating these things, even if it was going to be a Christian-based movie, which
Look,
but like, even if it was just the storyline without Medea and the comedy aspect, the movie, for me at least, could have floated on its own. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
yeah, but I
But
see what
since
you
Medea
mean.
was in the play,
Yeah,
he
he
felt like
just translated
Medea
over.
needed to be in the movie.
Well, I felt like because I was a Medea play household. My grandmama had all the plays and stuff. I think it was the black folk wanted to see Medea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think even now people probably wouldn't watch the movie if it didn't have Medea in it. And if I say what that says to me, I feel like I'm being real judgy and judgmental.
Okay, well, go
But
ahead and say it is your platform. We're listening.
I was ready for it.
I feel like black folk, one, we can't take anything serious. Like, yes,
No.
there is a place for comedic relief because things are hard to deal with, but
Mm-hmm.
we're never serious. Even in the face of very serious things like domestic fucking violence
Right.
against women, it always has to be this comedic or over the top response because I was writing down some critiques of the movie and I did say that the comedy cheapens the subject matter. I did. I did write that. But it kind of is a message of like you get back at men getting even, that there has to be a violent matriarch that everyone depends on. Um, but it's like I don't think black folk would be interested if it were a serious topic.
Well,
And
even
even though Tyler Perry did the interesting thing to get the attention, and just like for me with John Singleton, it's like, yes, we got your attention in the way that may resonate with the group that we're targeting, but the message was lost. And I think the message with Tyler Perry gets lost because we care about the comedy of Medea instead of the original intent behind him writing the plays. He was
Mm-hmm.
writing the plays so that we could have these tough discussions. And I get that an important character to him was Medea, and he wanted to make it more comedic just to have that relief in it. And I think the character eclipsed the message.
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that because even as you was talking, I thought about how Helen went to Medea, and Medea was in there talking to Helen, trying to find out like what happened with Charles. But then Joe, the brother, is again still cracking jokes, but Medea essentially is taking care of Joe. So it's always been the, like you said, violent matriarch having to take care of everybody else. And it's like Joe really didn't serve no purpose in the movie either.
At all.
My wife said he provides, and I was like,
I mean, he provide
I was
food.
like, what? He goes, well, his social security check. I'm like,
That can't
okay,
be
I
nothing but
guess.
like between the amounts of maybe $650 to $900, and he only getting that once a month.
Right.
I
That
think the male representation. I think we should go over the stereotypes. I don't know if we'll get them all, but
Yeah,
I
let's do
think
it.
every single character is a caricature of a stereotype, if that makes sense. Well, I was. I don't know. I feel like the serious characters that he writes are more based in reality.
hmm
So, like when he plays the Brian role and his wife and what they're going through,
it was more serious.
it
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, like it was. It
It
was.
was more serious. He wasn't cracking jokes.
No.
When he was talking to Helen at the cookout or whatever, and Helen was like, "Hey, I saw Deborah." Or whatever, but it's like, Helen, you've been up in delusional land in your mansion. You didn't even realize that your friend was back, on that stuff. And so for him to be like, my daughter's growing up so much and she wants to sing, but I just can't let her do it like that. That's a real struggle for some
Yeah.
people. Like, you know what I mean? To not to not want your children to behave like the other parent, especially in the situation like what it was. But you could tell he was just like, hey, men love hard too. The mother of my children is a junkie, but I love her. Like that was kind of tough. Like to rewatch it in my grown eyes, it's like, dang, bro, I don't even know what that looked like. Like, but that's deep. He
And I'm like,
couldn't.
as you're thinking, as you're talking about it, you know what comes to my mind?
Oh God.
Oh God, what?
Tyler Tyler Perry writes men in the very fanciful dramatic way men talk in the manosphere about men. So either he writes a Pookie and a Ray Ray or an
Mm,
educated lame simp.
mm,
Or the hard
Because I'm
working.
like, when you think about what is it? Brian's dad Joe, he a
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Pookie and a Ray Ray. The guy, there's always someone in his film about to go to jail on trial
Right.
from
Mm-hmm.
the old hood. You got your reformed Pookie, who is trying to be an educated lame, which for me would be Orlando.
Right.
And then you have your educated lames, which would be Charles and Brian. And it's just like there's no in between. It's like even in their actions and behaviors, it's like
There's no
you either
gamer in
have these
sight.
overly toxically masculine men who are just so horrible, or you have these men that are just completely emotional putty and they get tossed around by these women that have
Mm.
been tossed around by these pookies. And it's
Mhm.
like, is
We ain't
there
gonna
nobody
leave.
in between?
No,
Is there no nuance? Is there no like multi dimension of personhood? Like I'm just
no, Coco. There's no
it's
gamers
giving
in sight.
caricature.
There's no gamers in sight. We haven't found. There's not been a gamer in a Tyler Perry movie at all.
Not at all. I don't even think the kids play with toys.
Video games. Did we notice how Brian's son didn't talk either?
He didn't say not a word,
Yeah,
I was.
not one word.
He
He just
just.
look and smile.
Yeah, he would look like, oh, that's my cute grin. Okay. I thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, does this little boy, he never talked? Oh, okay.
I think Tyler Perry does. If you, how do I put this? I think you have. I mean, obviously, you have to be black to get it.
Right.
Because I feel like he is a very intentional person, even though I don't like his writing style or like agree with how he writes or how he scripts. He does a very great job of making sure everything in our culture is represented. You are gonna have your old heads, you're gonna have your youngins, you're gonna have the quote unquote fast girls, you're gonna have the quiet kid that I've never really noticed, but he really don't talk. That's interesting, but he's not ever going to, unless he's creating a caricature in only the way he can, because it's not everybody in the cast, which is like throwing me off a little bit. But he doesn't explicitly tell you, oh, this person is this or they're dealing with that. You kind of have to piece the shit together, just like we were talking about how we're coming in the middle of a story and we don't even get any background.
Right.
right.
We didn't get no flashbacks or nothing.
Like,
And I have
like
We,
seen movies that started from the end, but they worked their way
they
to let
back
you
up.
know what happened.
Well,
like,
even,
right, you could have told us, like, you show us the beginning of their relationship.
right.
Speed up to like year 5. Speed up to the first miscarriage. Like, you don't have to spend fucking the whole movie telling the backstory. Like, fucking
No.
Up did that
Do
shit in like 3
flashbacks.
minutes.
Yes, Up did and did a great job.
I thought I would have liked to see a flashback of how Deborah got back on drugs. Because remember, Helen woke up and Medea was there feeding, feeding Deborah, like, you need to eat, you need to take care of yourself, which I'm just like is
That
really counterproductive.
storyline was not fleshed out at all.
It
No.
wasn't.
Because was it
Like,
the
when
first
did she
time she
get
was
on
on
drugs?
drugs?
This
Because
was the
like they
relapse.
said that her and Helen grew up together, and
Right.
they basically came up through like middle of high school. So was it the first time she was on drugs? Is this like what's going on?
Was
Has
her
this been like a
friendship
thing where she was
impacted so
on and off drugs? Did she
right?
know she was on drugs? Like,
I, I
was she
feel
on
like
drugs when she
this
was
was her
pregnant? Like,
relapsing. I feel like this was a relapse because you remember Brian's character was like, oh, she took it hard when you left. But then when
Well,
she
when
came
did she
to
leave?
right, we
Right.
don't know when she left. And so then remember that scene which Deborah showed up to the house and Brian Federer was like, "Yo, you got to go. You can't be here when the kids wake up." And she was like, "I want to change." And he was like, "And then what? I give you access to the house, and you still again." So in that scene, I was like, "This has to be a relapse." Like
Or
that's
he
what I
could just
took
been
from it.
talking about like when it first started.
Oh, okay. I took it as a
And
relapse.
maybe she said she would stop and then he let her back and then she stole. I don't
Okay.
know. All I know
See,
is
but
it wasn't necessary to have that going on as well. Because it almost sounded like Brian made it Helen's fault that Deborah was on drugs.
Because he said
I
that
didn't get that. I
Because I wouldn't know any other way to understand why. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't understand. A lot of his movies never give you a full understanding of each and every character that he decides is going to get some camera time.
You know what it is? It may he doesn't have great character development.
It could be.
I just think that he's gotten better with television show scripts before movies. Like as time has
Because
progressed.
with TV, you can take your time with telling the background.
Hmm.
Right.
Right? Like you can have a episode and have them overcome a problem and maybe tell bits and pieces of the story here. That makes sense. But like for a movie where it's supposed to be completion, understanding, and like we get it, he
Because
he
let me
writes for the stage. Like
right.
Right. And that's why
Diary
all of this over dramatic things that he does in these shows make sense because that's what soap operas are supposed to be like. They're supposed to mirror the theater, like over the top. You know, we're gonna be loud. We're gonna make everything seems like it's bigger than what it is because we want to keep the audience attention because we know we only have it for a short time.
yeah, I can see that because even like as we're talking about it, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, um shoot, what was the one with Taraji? I can't think. I forgot the
wait.
name of the movie with
Not
Taraji.
is it the alchemy one?
Not Alchemy. No, 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 not
Oh, I
It's
can
Alchemy.
do bad
another
all by
one.
myself.
Taraji,
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah, that one. I can do bad all by
I
myself.
could do bad all by myself. Meet the Browns. With when Angela Bassett played that part. The one with Lynn Whitfield and the two daughters. They all were movies based off of the plays, which the plays again I felt like was better, but
Hmm.
just in the movie form it just didn't translate well for me personally. But
Right.
then I've watched, so like I personally watched Have and Have Nots. I liked Have and Have Nots until the end when everybody just went bye bye. And then if Loving You Was Wrong, I was with them. I watched every episode. I was with it. What's the one with Hattie Mae in it with the daughter? Now the daughter was a little stupid, but Hattie Mae carried that show. So I just feel like he's better at writing the scripts for television episodes versus the beginning movies that we got in the early 2000s. Just because like you said he took the plays and translated over the theater, and it's just I think I went to go see a bunch of that stuff because it was a Tyler Perry production, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not because it wasn't some shit I had already seen.
Yeah, I don't know. He Okay, let's get through because like the whole middle chunk of the movie is just her chronicles of getting a job, trying to make money, living with Medea. Um, and then they have the barbecue where she sees Orlando again. They kind of have a tiff. What really bothered me about their relationship timeline is I did not see exactly where they started to like each other because it went
Right.
from their first meeting in the U-Haul Second meeting was Medea's barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
And the third time they saw each other,
Picked her up from
Was
he
at
work.
the
popped
restaurant.
up at her job. And
But that
then the
wasn't weird.
fourth time he picked her up from work, they went to a restaurant and they started dating since that day. And the first two interactions, the first one, she kicked him out of the car. The second interaction, she throws water in his face
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and is like, hey, I'm going through a lot and I'm mad, blah, 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 blah. And then you see them dancing, but then to me, I missed the part where he wanted to see her again.
Same.
It
I
was
was
sort of kind of like
confused.
what she said in the dead diary. We've gone out every day since that since that night at Chandra's, and I just didn't know. Dear diary,
Well,
you
how
know,
did we get? But like that's the thing. Like, how did we get to Chandra? You know what I'm saying?
Because first off,
Because
you can't
he
take me
obviously
nowhere.
liked her to want to be in her face before that happened. So I was real life confused how we got to the part where he wanted to pursue something with her to begin with.
because that was never made clear. I guess after he saw her at the restaurant and he ordered the coffee, and she was reluctant to, entertain it or whatever the case may be. She went back to that scene, dear diary. She went through that little scene, and then she's leaving work. It's raining, and he pulls up and was like, Brian told me to come pick you up.
That's the
It's
part that's
like,
bothering me. Brian can't tell
See,
you
the part that bothers me is before that though.
because why didn't we have a scene where Brian was either talking to Helen or talking to Orlando about
Right. Why didn't we have that conversation on camera? Because to me, it's like between the barbecue and when he popped up at her job, because you don't go to a place like that in the middle of the day
mm-hmm.
for coffee. So
right?
he went there to see her. How the fuck did we get from throwing a drink on me to me wanting to see you at your workplace?
Because sometimes they like the crazy chick, and remember he already called her crazy. I'm just
Oh my God.
hypothetically, let's say that was the intent. Because it was somewhere in between one of those dear diaries. It was in between one of those. So maybe in between her monologue, and that's why we missed it.
Again,
I didn't
Tyler
understand how we
Perry
got there.
loves to leave out a lot of information that would really make the next scene that we're watching make the most sense.
Right.
Because if some man that I don't like pulled up while I'm waiting at the bus stop in the rain, talking about your cousin told me to pick you up, I'm be like, tell my cousin to kiss my ass. And you go
Because
ahead
that gave
and
off
do what
real
you gotta
stranger
do.
danger vibes.
Right, because I don't
But
understand why.
he gives that the entire fucking movie.
Right,
Every time he would ask her something, she would say no. And he would go into his monologue of trying to convince her why she should say yes and why he's not taking no for an answer.
Right. Very persistent type love bombing type situation.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. I felt like rewatching it with a new pair of eyes.
But
I
it
felt
also
like it was
gives
very
like
love bombing.
going back to the whole he writes players like the Manosphere talks about men. It's like these whole good guys that people say, oh, the good guys are the educated lanes. But if I don't know if he wrote this consciously or he thinks it's a good thing, but the good guy is the one that keeps pressuring her to do things before she's ready.
Right.
Right.
And even though she delulu and she need to have a damn backbone, this man just saw her get pulled out of a house. Why do you keep? Well, I mean, obviously, why do you keep pressuring her to do things she doesn't want to do? I mean, you obviously that she gonna do it, but it's like, why do you keep asking her to go on dates with you, to come here with you? She said no, and yet
Just
you're
don't.
still here talking.
How did he say it? He was like, Shamar's character, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't let me be the, don't let what happened with him be the reason why you don't give me a chance.
Right.
Girl,
Shamar,
what?
Shamar, you did.
She ain't even seen the attorney about getting divorced yet.
She doesn't know you. She doesn't know you, bandana man. Like, get out of here. People were laughing at me at Coco's live because I just kept to be a woman who's heterosexual in a heterosexual marriage, I just disapproved of the whole lot of it. It was just none of it seemed beautiful to me. Like
I feel
Brian told you to pick me up. What makes you think I want to go? The only reason why she got in the car is because she didn't want to stand out in a thunderstorm.
correct.
So you got into the truck. It was no way he could have took me to Sandra's. Take me home. I just got off of work. I don't want to go anywhere with you. I want to go home.
But here's the thing.
He said they had
We
good salmon.
know we're
Sorry.
complaining about this, right? She kept saying yes.
Right.
She kept teaching that man that as long as you ask me twice, I'm going to say yes.
And they
Right.
had good salmon, remember? At Chandra's. Remember he was like, I know this little spot. I know this little spot. That's good salmon called Chandra's. I love that place.
Can we also talk about how unrealistic it is to go from being
Strangers.
no. Go from being with a man where you have to go be in dress code to go to restaurants with white tablecloths to going out with a man that comes to your job and asks you for a number four. Can we
Right.
talk about how unrealistic that shit is? Even though she
He
ain't with that
believed
man before and he wasn't a
believed
great
in
man.
Jesus.
I just don't see how this is realistic. Like, I guess she's starting over, which she should really just focus on starting over and figure that the fuck out.
Well,
But you're
remember,
not gonna convince me a woman that has been living this way for at least a decade
Was okay
and
with
just
it.
don't
Because
just
this
like yeah.
man never not had on Tim's.
that's true.
Ever not had on like some kind of baggy long sleeve shirt.
Because he's clearly a blue collar. Tyler Perry's gonna make you understand that blue collar workers only own Timbs. Even though they're a work shoe and you don't really wear work shoes outside of work, he gonna let you know this
Dark
man
denim
worked with
jeans
his hands.
and Tim's. That's why when he held her while they was dancing, why he hold me like that? I bet you this is the time he's gonna say something stupid. No,
Girl,
he
and
didn't.
that whole thing of the thought process
Piss
just shows
me
me
off.
how juvenile she is. And I'm just like, he doesn't know that's how you like to be held. He's holding you how he wants to hold you, and you happen to like it.
Right.
This, I
That
don't
part.
like this whole idea
Or
because
I have
women
another
have this
one.
idea. What?
I said I have another one. Or remember, she hasn't been getting a lot of play in her marriage.
And she was horny.
Ooh.
I said it. I said it, friends. There we are. She hadn't been touched and also had been faking it because her husband was giving the good deed to the side chick that he gave 2 kids to. And so this tall man with this bad lace front is holding you in the middle of Chandra's. And it's like, because she ain't been touched in a while. You touched
Right.
the pride, baby.
That too, but I think it feeds into again, I think he displays things that we see but don't kind of talk about. It's like there's this idea, especially amongst women, that like when you're with the right person, they'll just know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They'll know how you want to be touched. They know how you want to be talked to. They just inherently know if they're your partner, they'll know every single fucking thing. And we kind of romanticize, oh, if a person does this, that means, oh, they love me. Which yes. But I feel like we don't have a culture of communication,
At all.
right? Especially when it comes to physical touch from women. This is why 80+% of us having sex with men don't get a big O. We
I
think
did for
that
a long
sex is
time.
supposed to just happen and you're not supposed to communicate your likes and interests to the other
Right.
person or communicate when something doesn't feel good or it could feel better.
Right.
It's just like he's just supposed to know. And it's like, no. This man, he may do things and you may like it, but especially with her being so delusional, I don't think if like I
I'm
don't think
sorry. I'm
like
sorry. Go ahead, Coco. You got it. You got
I
it.
don't think like if these were real people, I don't think that maybe, if he does something sexually, because again, they didn't have sex.
No,
I don't know if they ever did, but
they
they at least up to the point of they got engaged, which she left him anyway. So yeah, they never had sex this
Speak,
entire movie.
speaking of the engagement, now delusion with a capital DE for how she woke up and went to the bathroom and ain't looked at her hand until come on now, that ring was there when you got out that bed, ma'am.
you feel when something is on you. Like I feel my ring because it's gonna be a little heavy on your hand because your hand wasn't used to that weight.
I just thought that
Delusion.
scene was stupid. Helen, you don't love me because you never said it. Y'all just met 4 months ago. Damn.
That
Right.
was
And
so
she's not
confusing.
even divorced. How do you propose to someone who is married?
And can we also bring up the fact that he just got out of a relationship a year and a half ago?
See, you see what I'm saying? Tyler Perry is diabolical because it's like, why? Why are you writing this love story and it's not a love story for anybody involved?
Essentially, they only allegedly dated a few weeks shorter than Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom. Like that's it. It's like, oh, whirlwind. Oh, this is right. Oh, let's do this. And I'm still confused on how, again, she got out the bed, didn't look at her left hand at all, because the left hand doesn't exist in the bed or the pillow. And she goes to the bathroom and uses the bathroom, washes her hands, and then you see the ring, and then it's like, Orlando, what is this? Like, girl, put some bass in your damn voice. What is you talk? It's a ring, honey. And where he get the ring from? When he leave to get the ring?
He must have already had it.
Again, we don't know this man is this far deep into this relationship because we don't see
None
anything
of this.
from his perspective, which
No.
this has been a great time to show us something from his perspective.
Of like how he came to get the ring or whatever. Like,
Where the money came from for the wedding while you over here living in a loft apartment.
that is true. It was a loft. It was a very high ceiling loft.
Like you was just talking about how, and furthermore, wasn't he complaining on their first fucking unofficial official date that the last girl left him for some man with more
For a
money? So you want
baller.
to go
Yes.
propose to a woman who's currently married to a man with more money?
Yes.
This man, this is what I'm talking about. He's writing these delusional ass fans. Maybe the men watched the Tyler Perry movies and was like justice for Orlando because he writes it like a nice guy saga.
Look, I'm
But the
still
life
I
tripping on.
pray, I pray for you more than I pray for myself. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, you only knew her for like
But here,
3 months.
right? That's a good stroke, right? But on the other end, you pressure me to do things that I don't want to do.
And then she said, was it just me? Or did y'all catch the fact that there was a lot of times when he was talking, she'd be like, "I- I- 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 but wouldn't say shit. I wanted to just hit the screen. Like, girl, burp and say what you're going to say or something. Like, I can't. And then the whole run out after Charles got shot. He's like, what's going on? What's going on? You can't see what I see. You can't see the TV. Be
But
like,
it's the fact that she said, I have to go and left and didn't talk to this man for
for 3 weeks
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Not a peep. Didn't say shit.
Nope.
Ran out the apartment abruptly and just ghosted this man.
with the ring
Exactly.
on. With the ring on. She showed up to the hospital with the ring on.
And took it off. Like he would, like
Like
Charles
he would give a
even
fuck.
gave a fuck about her having on that ring.
My
Delusional. You see what I'm saying?
even when Tyler Perry being there, talking about, I'm about to be the side chick, Brenda. I'm about to be his wife, girl.
You don't give a fuck about none of that shit. This man is not even divorced.
At all. They had just been
Everybody in the
divorced.
movie was delusional for me.
when she said that and she turned down that money and said the only thing that I want him to do is pay my legal fees, meaning pay my cousin and make sure my mama can stay where she's staying at. That's all she cared about.
Nah, boss. He would have had to sell that house and split it down the middle playing with me. Shit.
18 years?
18. Nah, I want the whole estate. Nigga. Like, you doing all this. And he received that 300K while they were still married. So she had access to that money too. But she ain't know about that money. Never mind. I'm talking in hypotheticals. But I wouldn't have went there without a coin. She was driving an old Toyota Camry, the box ones. Could have got you a new Honda.
She's stupid and delusional.
Talking about, I'm trying to help
Brian's
you.
But
like,
also,
Brian, like, hold on, wait. Hold on.
Yeah, Brian tried to tell her.
Like, what
Brian
are
said,
we
whoa, whoa,
doing
whoa.
here?
He tried to tell her. I don't think you should do that. It's okay. No, it's not. Judge, can I have a minute with my
Right, sidebar. Like,
Look, can we have a sidebar with her? If you don't shut down, like I was almost shot Brian and be like, but then you gonna kill the both of us if I let you walk up out of here and you ain't done what you was supposed to did to get this money. Hell, Medea was on house arrest for tearing up that man's house. You at
right.
least need to get the money. I still thought that was the funniest scene. I'm gonna be honest, because where did Medea get the chainsaw? Sorry, I always thought that part was hilarious.
exactly.
I was like, how you know what's in that? How you know where the chainsaw was in that man's house?
But we gotta get to this part about we gotta get to the part about her beating his ass and coming to the
Oh
stuff
God.
on. But nah, it's like so they have the divorce scene, and after that we see the court scene of his other case. He loses the case and the defendant ends up shooting him. He's paralyzed. They have that scene in the hospital with
Well,
old
old
girl.
girl said, "Let him die."
Girl, she left and took all the shit. And Helen somehow becomes the caretaker of him, and she's taking care of him for what I think like 3 weeks. And she sees Orlando. That's when that happens, and he's like, "You left me, blah blah blah, and I'm not gonna have part of you. When you really love somebody, you just can't be their friend." And they have that scene. She go back to her husband, nurse him back to health, and
Got him limping around.
before that, I forgot. Before that, she whooped his ass a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She slapped the fuck out of him.
yeah.
because
Remember,
he had
he's
lost his
paralyzed. He's
mind.
quadriplegic. I think he's paralyzed from the neck down. So she smack his ass. She leave his ass sitting in the same spot
For
for a
3
few
days.
days. She go and roll his ass to a bathtub. He almost drowned and shit. Then she ain't fed him this whole time since he been home. Then she eating in front of him and
He
shit.
crying and
With
shit.
the
So,
driest salad on planet
right,
Earth, by the
no
way.
dressing, not an ounce of dressing.
And she acting like
Dry.
it tastes good.
To him, it would have
Oh.
been delicious. But this part, I think, as an adult, is the part that doesn't sit well with me at all. Cause it's like it's I am team get your lick back. You should never come to me for advice unless it's legal advice and you're in the state of Florida. I can help you with those things. But as a friend, if you're talking about a Negro acting the fuck up, do not come to me. I'm gonna tell you to get your lick back.
That
Okay. So she getting her lick back, but I felt like the opportunity for her to get her lick back had already come and gone. And you gonna wait until this man is quadriplegic to get your lick back. How do you feel? First of all, how do you feel fulfillment getting your lick back from a quadriplegic? He can't even fucking feel the shit. So it's like
Because his words hurt her more than anything. So, because he was sitting there saying, "Oh, you can't do nothing right. All I asked you to do was do this, and you
Call
can't even
Brittany,
do
get
that
my
right.
kids. Where my kids?
Where my kids? Obviously gone, bro. She's not here. She
Now,
dipped.
now, for me personally, that first initial slap, I was team okay with that because I feel like he could feel it off that dome.
Yeah,
I agree with the first slap, but then when she left him there for 3 days, I said, "Well, dang,
that was
Helen, like
pointless.
I'm like, I guess as a caregiver, it's like, ma'am, you're supposed to check on them people every 2 hours. Like, what are you doing? And so I'm like, all
Right.
right.
Is he urinating and pooping on himself? Is he have a
Right.
catheter, a bag? What's
He
going
had no
on?
catheter. No, no, no. There was nothing attached to him. If technically they would have had to like toilet him or like do a urinal or whatever the case may be. But there was no bags or nothing attached to him. She just left him sitting there because he had to pretend like he couldn't use his arms. So then my follow-up question was, when did she run the bath water?
They have bubbles in it and everything.
Right. I
Yeah.
was like, when she run the bath water, and then sitting up there talking about, stop making those bubbles. Girl, he tried to breathe.
Right.
Right. He is drowning.
He cannot lift his head up because he can't move
Oh,
his neck.
oh, that was the part. I
That's what I'm
forget
saying.
how
Like,
stupid
I
that
feel
part
like
was.
it went too fucking far.
It did.
It
And like
did. I
again with
agree.
Tyler Perry and these shows, you have to get your lick back, and the only way you can get even if you get even physically. And it's like we couldn't go to therapy, like we couldn't move the fuck on, put him in a nursing home. Like, ain't that getting your lick back?
Yep.
Getting your lick back would have been burning the house down instead of getting drugged the fuck out. Getting your lick
I'm
back would have
telling
been
you.
taking him for all that he got in the divorce. I'm trying to figure out why you waited until now to get your lick back, bitch. She got on my damn nerves this whole movie. I want to slap her for real, for real.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Side note, my son is texting me videos, and one of his videos says, "Welcome back to TMZ Live." What am I teaching him?
What?
He recorded a video on his iPad, and he talks to text, and it's like, "Welcome back to TMZ Live," and then he sent me the video. Anyway, I'm so sorry. That caught me off guard. I just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, even when Medea was like, I ain't never seen you grin like that. That's because she over there whooping his ass. I was
Right.
like, I was like, well, at least somebody knows. Because you see how she was like, what? What? What do you
No,
mean,
I would
girl?
never. I would never hurt him.
Girl. Girl. Look like you did all of this. Christina left. Your little whore took all the money.
That part was funny.
That was talking about Christina. Christina's gone. Your little whore took all the money and didn't leave anything to pay her, so she left and took some of your things too. Because at that point, I was like, she's in the middle of the mental break now. When she started, your little whore, she left. Like, come on,
But it was
Kimberly
like
Elise.
she didn't even have to have that whole mental break because you didn't
No,
have to come take care of this man.
you
You
didn't
Why
have
did
didn't.
to
you come
let
back to
him where
take
he
care of this
was.
man?
I
Like,
feel
I
like
don't
she went back
understand.
because she thought, in his time of need, we're still legally married. Let me be there, and then maybe he'll change. And then when he sat
Mm.
there while she's looking through those papers, and he talked to her in the same manner that he did, before, and she talking about the old Helen is gone. Honey, not really, because every time a Linda tell you to push or pull, you be like, so no, you still there. You mad at him. You angry with him. Like she said, she saw it was rage at that particular point, which rage could turn to a first 48 episode easy if this was a real life situation. But again, just a movie.
Right.
And it's like,
But like, why? I just didn't understand. I mean, I didn't understand. I mean, I guess it's the Christianity, but how did she think she was gonna be cool? Like, you left this man, you staying at a family member house, and this other man's pursuing you.
mm-hmm,
Was the journal entry supposed to be like the therapy or like the
I think so.
healing? Because
I
it's like,
guess.
how are you going to be with this man and be so wrapped up in a relationship to the point where he's proposing, and the minute you see that this man that you're supposed to be leaving is harmed, you jump up and move
Right.
and go take care of him, put all your energy back into him.
Because that means you never wanted Orlando in the first place. You loved the idea of somebody loving you because you hadn't been loved in such a long
Right.
time. And then you realize the love of your life because that was your first. because you never had
Mm-hmm.
sex with Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So all you had was intimacy. That's what she said. He gave me
Oh,
something
this
better than sex.
man.
He gave me intimacy. And
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, I like intimacy too. However, you obviously didn't trust this man to be, for you and him to come together in that way.
I mean, because she was playing. You remember that scene was at What If God Is One of Us? They did a little mantra of them like playing pillow fighting and whatever. Like Orlando was always like the non-sexual rebound to take her
Mm-hmm.
out to eat and make her feel good. And then she was just like, oh, I've never felt like this. And he's fine. And he's Christian. I was like, when have he said that he was Christian? Y'all
Never.
gotta
I
stop.
ain't
Y'all
seen
gotta
him go
stop
to
that.
church not one time.
Not one time.
Now, in one of them scenes, was he over there? He went over there when Cora was singing. We do
Not
know
one
that.
time.
Like that he never said nothing about Jesus. I don't recall.
Well, he was saying that he prayed for her more than he prayed for himself.
Okay, but I mean, he could have been praying to Jesus, Jaquan Christ, or White Jesus, or
That
Jesus,
that is
or
absolutely true.
he could have been praying to Muhammad or Buddha or whomever. It was just automatically implied that
It was
the
yeah, it was
blue collar worker with the bad lace front
mm,
who's love bombing you after watching you be abused, like but he believes in Jesus. That, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like my dumb ass when I decided to keep forgiving an ex. Be like, you know what? He got a good job and he loved his mama and he loves Jesus. Because my dumb ass did that for about a decade. So they be the worst ones.
I'm
And
still
so he
trying to
wasn't
figure out
even
how
in the
he fell
church.
in love with her
He
so
wasn't
quick.
even at church in the last scene.
No.
And wasn't. Well, because they went to church, and that's when Charles, and after Helen and Orlando meet at that restaurant where he's like, nah, fuck that shit. She's taking care of her husband still, but this time after that talk with Medea and her mama, she's being nicer to him, which I still don't figure. I'm confused. Where's the in-house aide? I
Right.
digress. Uh, but
He
she
has
nurses him back
money.
to health. He gets his feeling back, and he's not longer paralyzed. They go to church, have that famous end scene where they're all
Your
singing.
father
Brian's
did
wife,
I love
forgive
that song
me.
though.
Now, yeah, I'm not
Brian's
gonna
wife come
lie.
back because she wanted to rehab, and now she clean, I guess.
Yeah, because that
But
was the
then
Yeah,
quickest
after
because it was
rehab.
that,
kind of like I know that it's a movie and things have to be accelerated, but I felt like it happened way too quickly.
That was like a 36-hour rehab, and she was clean.
no, I think it's supposed to be a long period of
That's
time.
what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I
but
think that I caught on that he uses the music to show that time is passing.
yeah,
Hmm.
And so I think it was maybe like I want to say at least a month. I don't know whatever it is I have that, but yeah. But after that, the solo and the mama coming in, and they have a Sunday dinner at Medea's house with everybody. And that's when she presents her husband with the divorce papers to sign and gives the rings back. And then she leaves and she goes find Orlando. They kiss in the welding room, and the movie ends.
I just, first of all, did you take the divorce papers with you to church? Because
They're still not filed.
I'm
They
so
still not
sorry. That
filed.
was the craziest thing to me in that scene. So I'm gonna be honest, because as a teenager, I was like, I'm gonna work and sing for Tyler. I'm gonna work and be in one of Tyler Perry shows. That last scene, especially when Deborah came in, I was crying. I was in my feelings today because I cried when it came out. I cried last night. So I was already in my feelings. But then when they got to the dinner, and I was like, okay. And it's like, can you forgive me, Charles? And then she pulled the divorce papers out. So did you have the divorce papers before you did communion? I'm so confused on where the hell,
Like, when did we? I was like,
when
first of
did
all,
we
why are we
get here?
doing this at dinner? Why couldn't
right
we have done this like
in private at the back of
in
the
a
house.
in the car before we got here, after we leave? Like,
But
Why
all
right
of them
now?
at the table look confused. Excuse me. All of them at the table look confused. Even Brian. Even Brian was like, and Deborah was like, nigga, like, what? Like, everybody was confused. And it's like, Cicely Tyson, well, where you going, baby? To get
I'm
my
gonna go
man.
find my man.
Like,
I'm gonna go find my man.
oh my Lord. Then they running through this welding shop. And she in
Girl,
heels. Like, ma'am.
in her
Ask
church
me again.
outfit.
Right.
Ask me again. I love you. Ask me again.
Then she repeats
Girl.
the same shit
But
that he
like,
said to her.
why? Why? What again? I will say this weird discussion. Why in Tyler Perry films the option is neither one of you niggas are compatible with me. You got money, but you got anger issues, and you done me dirty, and you never really gonna change, and you got side kids. You
Mm-hmm.
over here obviously don't understand what the fuck no means. You are still on the rebound from your fucked up relationship, and I'm still married.
Yeah.
Is the option never to be by your fucking self?
No.
No, I don't think so. Because the I Can Do Bad All By Myself, Taraji ended up with the Hispanic dude. Meet the
Oh,
Browns, Angela Bassett ended up with somebody, some dude. Um, yeah, because her baby daddy did the older son dirty in that one. Like the majority of the time, daddy's little girls, Gabrielle ended up with Idris. Yeah. So they always end up with somebody, and it's always gonna be like, well, God brought them to me. And I'm like,
and
Lord.
why the good guy never got no damn fucking money? Why is the good boy always the nigga with no fucking money? Where is the coins? No,
This is a
why can't we
hometown.
have a nigga with money with some sense? I don't understand.
No,
What
he's a hometown guy.
Yeah, he's the hometown. He's the hometown one that you looked over and you should have went back and gave. Oh my God, Coco, you right.
this
It
is
is the
just fairy
manosphere.
tale for the insolvent. Like I just
You know
I
what?
can't.
You Coco, you're right about he writes from the perspective of the way that the guys speak to each other in the manosphere. Because even with Shamar Moore's character, is the hometown dude who worked 12 hours, so he a hard worker. And he a good dude, even though he be pushing people, or
To
he be
do things they
pushing
don't want to
to
do
do things
all the
that he wants
time.
to do. And it sort of comes off like, oh, Helen went with that dude that got all that money when she should have gave that good dude at home a chance.
Right.
Actually, all right, never mind. We on YouTube. I'll wait till we not broadcasting. Anyway,
I know exactly what you're about to talk
I
about.
know, I know, I know, I know. I had to catch myself for a split second. Anyway,
I don't I none of the characters were very defined. They were very flat characters.
mhm.
And I don't understand how a main character could not have any depth. It's really weird to me.
The main character barely had any depth.
I don't feel like she learned anything.
Not at
I
Danae,
all.
don't I don't feel like she learned anything. I don't feel like she grew from
The thing that she
scene
learned
one
was
to the
to
last
be
scene.
with the man that loves Jesus despite how much money he has.
mhm.
That was what she was supposed to fucking learn.
Helen,
Not to
Helen,
stop being a pushover, not to have boundaries, not to have standards, not to learn how to be on your own and like your own company.
Mhm.
Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses and appearances. None of that was the lesson. The lesson was get you a man that loves Jesus and that
mhm.
work with his hands.
Listen, Helen walked so that Danae could run. Do you hear me?
Listen,
That's the sermon right there, y'all. Y'all want to touch and agree and pray? You know,
No.
like
Helen walked so that Danae could run.
But this goes on in real life.
It does, and
It
it's
happens in
pathetic and sad.
real life. And I don't get it because, being alone ain't never hurt nobody. I understand you want somebody to lay beside at night, but at the same regard, Like, just be by yourself for a little bit. Get to know who you are. You spent 18 years with a man that the majority of y'all relationship, y'all marriage, he didn't love you. And you need to figure out how to love yourself.
Right.
And that never happened.
No.
Mm-mm. It did not.
This shit was whack as fuck. Um,
Watching
if
it
I'm
back in with
giving it
adult
a
eyes.
rating out of 5 stars, it's getting 1. Well, I that's unfair. So I guess if I'm critiquing a movie as a whole, I have to critique not only the writing, the acting, but the film quality. Um, if I were to give it a accurate rating out of 5 stars, I'll probably give it a 2. 2 out of 5.
Um, I
What?
guess for me, and I hell. Or you go first. What's your rating?
Why do I have to go first? Okay.
Because I
Y'all gonna
can't.
judge me. Y'all gonna judge me.
I'm not gonna judge you.
Because I don't have a rating because I haven't learned I didn't learn anything.
Well,
I
it's
don't
a
know what the theme
movie.
is.
So you're 0 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just gonna say
So
an NA.
okay. Um.
I don't have enough information to gather.
So for me personally, I'm gonna give it a 1.357 out of
Oh.
10. Because
How you do
just
that math?
because that's just I was just rolling with the numbers how they were flowing out. That's how I
Mm.
got there.
Okay.
Um I just remember the emotional reaction I had to the singing, and because
Hmm.
I got emotional from the singing, because 16-year-old me wanted to be the singer on Tyler Perry's plays. That's how I got to the 1.357 out of 10. Um, I was very happy that Deborah got off that stuff. That's where I'm at. Because
Yeah.
the rest of it, the
That
rest,
scene will always get me because of the song.
yes, agreed. That's where
I'm a
that's where
sucker
my
for a
my
good
number comes
gospel
from.
song. I'm a sucker for a good gospel song that hits your heart.
Hmm.
Really, and then he got that scene from The Color Purple. We're not gonna sit here and act like that won't the same thing
We
that
need to
should
talk about
be.
Tyler Perry's unhinged attachment to movie references because oh my fucking god. Every time you turn around, Medea is making some fucking movie reference,
That
and
is true.
I'm tired of it.
Hmm.
That is true.
But yeah, if I had to give it a number, I think I probably would give it a 2 out of 10 as well. Because I really didn't see how these characters really grew
Right.
throughout the movie. Like, it's just like it just felt so choppy. It was like, okay, I don't like her because she threw me out of the truck. I don't like her. She threw water on me. You better, if you come in to talk to me, because this is the part that got me. If you come in to talk to me, it better be an apology. Whoa, you.
You see how he
Yeah, he did.
effortlessly creates this nice guy archetype. Like it's like you think you're a nice, good guy, but you're really not.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it goes, you really saw someone being abused and you didn't step in. And then you added to her trauma by saying, like, damn, I see why you're in the situation that you're in. What do you mean by that? She got drugged out the fucking house.
While you watched.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're constantly pressuring her to engage in things she doesn't want to do because every time you ask her something, she says no or says, I'm not ready for that. But then you have some fucking monologue to get her to do what you want her to do. So are you really a nice guy? Are you really a good guy? Or you just present yourself in a better quote unquote packaging than the other guy?
Ooh,
based
I like that
on
one.
based on your previous statement about Tyler writing in the way that the men speak to each other in the manosphere, he would be the stereotypical quote unquote good guy, blue collar, work 12 hours. So you
Mhm.
should be giving him a chance and putting your pocketbook with your legs open on a platter for him because he's the good guy, even though he verbally pushed you to do things you didn't want to do. Like, that's
Mhm.
not coercion. I feel like I said that word wrong, but you get my point. It's like,
You said it right, I think.
oh, okay. Sometimes I be saying words, my brain be yelling at me like you didn't say that right. Anyway, um, he's the stereotypical, like he's like Orlando's character in the real world will be them guys that's like, well, she picked that Pookie and Ray Ray when she could have been with me because I'm a
Mm.
good guy. That
Mhm.
would be who he would be.
Because even when you think back to his brief background story, he's single because a woman left him for a man with more money.
Correct.
Yep.
And I gave her everything and she just up and left me for a man with money. That's their whole fucking wet dream, is a woman feeling bad for them because another woman did them dirty.
Correct.
Like, girl, okay.
I just the whole ending was really weird, and the whole him picking her up and carrying her through the welding shop, even
That
though
came from
his
a white
boss then
movie. I
ran
can't think of what the
behind
name of that
her.
movie is.
Say it again.
That came from a white movie. I can't think of the name of the movie, but I think he was like in the military and he came to get his girl and he picked her up
The
and walked.
Notebook, listen, the fact that Tyler Perry always has these women going to get the man back is wild to me.
Agreed.
Period.
Because in the Notebook, like, yeah, she was the one tripping. I mean, I guess I've never seen the movie. I'm not gonna hold
What,
y'all.
the Notebook? I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, but didn't
Yeah,
he
we're
come
not
back
in
to
agreement.
her? Have we not all seen the Notebook? I guess that could be our next movie.
I guess. Oh my god, we probably need to watch that together.
Oh my goodness.
'Cause I've never
Shocking.
seen
I
it either.
haven't seen that shit. But I
Uh-uh.
assume he came back for her. But in Tyler Perry films, it's the woman coming to get the man back.
Right.
Again, with the whole male fantasy around what it is to be in
They're the
relationships with white.
prize.
Like, girl, what? You got me out here running in my good church clothes in a wilderness shop trying to get you back, even though I'm really not even divorced for real. Like,
Right. And
that
I
doesn't
really
make any
still don't
sense.
love you. I
Yeah.
really still don't love you. I definitely repeated back to you the same shit you said to me a couple of months ago.
That part pissed me off. You not even original. You wasn't even original after you
Again,
were
it plays into his fantasy. The women just do what the men do. Don't y'all see?
I'm just at the part where she's like, Orlando, Orlando, ask me again. Ask me again. I love you. Ask me again. Girl, if you put no bass in your damn voice, I swear. Oh, it's so annoying. Because it's just like, oh, I wonder have I been that desperate before. Like, I don't. That's what it made me think about. And they say, ask me again. Girl, have I been
I'm
that
not.
desperate? Oh, I need to reevaluate. Now I got to go back and think about some things.
Mm-mm.
Oh, Jesus.
100% confidence. I never ran into no man's job
Oh,
to
yeah,
ask
yeah, nah,
tell
nah.
me anything.
Yeah, you right. I ain't
It
never
can wait
did
till you
that.
get off. It ain't that serious.
I ain't
Right.
running nowhere. Let's be clear.
Like, let me go home and change.
Right.
Let me text you
Something.
and let you know I need
He
to talk
couldn't
to you.
wait till the shift was over. Like, damn.
Right.
So what? She just left and he went back to work after that. Like,
I
Well,
mean,
we
he took her
don't know
out.
because all we saw was him carrying her and a bunch of men clapping, which I felt was fake because they was in real life.
the
They would be
women.
like, "Dude, you sure you want to do that?" Like, come on now, that wasn't even real.
Listen, Tyler Perry is. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. Final
Well,
thoughts, cause like I don't. I feel like
final
we
thoughts is Tyler still never married his baby mama, so that should tell us a lot.
Ooh,
Ooh.
well.
Cause we ain't never seen Little Man. Let's be clear. We have not
He
publicly
had a surrogate.
seen
Did he not
seen
have a
that
baby by
baby.
himself? Was that not a
Say
thing?
say it again.
I said, I thought, didn't he have a baby with a surrogate, or he was with that
No,
woman
no,
for
no, no,
real?
no. He was
Yeah, he
dating
was
this
supposed to be with that
young
woman.
brown skinned girl that had a pretty wash and go. And you only seen her once or twice. And then you heard that she was pregnant. We seen one picture, his hand on her stomach. And then there was an announcement that Little Man was born, but he not a junior. But I don't remember his name because we ain't never seen him. He's almost like Drake's child, you know. I'm
Yeah.
hiding from the world. We don't get to see him like that. But he never married that girl. I knew when he was dating her and she got pregnant, she was like 25.
Oh,
She wasn't 30 yet. I do remember that. Let me go look it up. Where Tyler Perry baby mama at?
I'm already looking it up.
ooh, Lord.
Hey Siri, who is Tyler Perry's baby mama?
Here's an answer from celebritymirror.com.
Wait a minute.
Despite the fact whether they are engaged or
It's the fact that keeps happening to me. Oh Jesus. Okay, hold on. What is this? When is this? What date is this?
His son's name is a man. Amen. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Galia Berkeley, who is the mother of Tyler Perry's only son, a man stuns with her age-defying mother in new snap. That's from 2021, December 13th. Yeah, there she go with the wash and go. I remember her having pretty curly hair. I remember that. Tyler and the baby mama pictured at the second annual Steve Harvey Foundation gala in 2011 in New York. Yeah, that was the only time he showed up in public with her. He revealed that old girl told him that she was pregnant during a FaceTime call and showed him the positive pregnancy test. The two never got married, but Perry remarked in the interview, "There's no other person on this planet I would want to be involved with or have a child with because she's amazing." 6 years after welcoming their child, the couple called it quits. However, they kept their breakup private until Perry took to Instagram and shared that he was single and going through a midlife crisis.
Well,
And that
there
kid is
you have it, folks.
The kid
eight
is
years
what?
old. 8.
Oh shoot! She gave birth the same year I did. My young and 8. They could have been friends.
I
Listen,
can't with you.
I
I'm
don't think I
sorry.
would ever show my kids to the world, sis. Be like, crazy.
Let's see.
Whew.
Source told People at the Times that the couple remained friends after their split and were focused on being the best parents they could be to their son. Although the media creator and philanthropist chose to keep some aspects of their lives private, his baby mama has shared details of her childhood with media, including being primarily raised by her grandmother.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Well, she do look like the grandma. Y'all, I'll
Not
send
the
y'all her
grandma's
Instagram.
baby.
Yeah, she had
All right,
117,000
y'all.
followers.
Look, we don't have to peruse Tyler Perry baby mama and his business at
Oh,
another
I'm sending you
time.
her profile. Don't worry about it.
Ooh, not us being messy, but look,
Woo.
we have reached the end of this review. Let us know if you like this. Maybe we should just be commentators on media. I don't know. I just be out here doing shit, seeing what the
Right.
fuck y'all like and shit. So,
That would be fun. That would be
so
fun.
thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Good
Thank
night to
you.
the YouTubes. And oh my goodness, I don't know if we can do any more Tyler Perry. I don't think I have it in me. I
I think
don't.
we should do like one more, but we gonna have
Let's
to
do
decide.
Why Did I Get Married? Because that one,
Oh yes,
Oh la.
the first one.
yes,
Yes, let's do it.
because I can
Coco.
watch that one and not be like too like upset about it. It's not
Right,
my favorite Tyler Perry by a long shot.
but I can tolerate that one better than some of the others.
Correct.
This is true. Yes, I can tolerate that one.
Yeah, our little pictures is cute. We
Uh,
cute, y'all.
Thanks.
Ew.
Trying to find me a hoochie
I
daddy.
don't
My
even
dog's
know.
gonna need a new pappy.
Yeah.
Preferably an old rich white man to go put me and my wife in his will.
That
Ew.
part.
Right.
I got a story about that. I'll tell y'all off camera.
Oh
I can't.
Lord.
I can't.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.